podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, March 27th, 2022. This is episode 1880. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Cashfly. Cashfly is giving away a complimentary detailed analysis of your current CDN bill and usage trends. See if you're overpaying 20% or more. Learn more at twit.cashfly.com. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here. Yes, it's Tech Guy time. That moment you've all been dreading, the geek with the radio show. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. If you need a tame geek to talk to, somebody who can talk the talk, walk the walk. 8888 Ask Leo. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, well, you could still call. It's going to take some geekiness to do it, though. You have to use Skype or something like that. 8888 Ask Leo. Now I'm mad. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has taken another victim, a historic computer museum. In Mariupol, I didn't know this, there was a guy collecting Soviet-era computers. More than 500 pieces dating as far back as the 50s. It'd taken its collector a decade to put together this collection of, it's called Club 8-Bit. Fortunately, the creator of the museum is fine. He's lost his home. And he's lost the collection, which is sad. It has been reported that the Mariupol Computer Museum in Ukraine, a privately owned collection of over 500 items of retro computing consoles and technologies from the 50s to the early 2000s, the tweet read, a collection nearly 20 years in the making has been destroyed by a bomb. I'm sorry. That's just one more reason to be mad as heck. There are some great computer history museums in the world, mostly, I think, in Silicon Valley, although I'll never forget in Tokyo seeing a collection of old Japanese calculators, including one, a digital calculator that had a abacus attached to it so that, to make the transition easy. So that people were used to using abacuses or abaci. I don't know what the Japanese word is, but we're able to, I can still use the abacus. Oh, look, let's check the calculator, see if it's right. Oh, it is. Okay, it is. FCC has placed Kaspersky, more Russian news, the Russian antivirus company, on its security risk list. There's always been a lot of talk about Kaspersky. Is this really safe to use? This is the first non-Chinese company placed on this list. China Telecom and China Mobile were also added. Once a company's on the list, federal subsidies can't be used to purchase the equipment or services from that company. Kaspersky himself, there's a guy, Eugene Kaspersky, has always said, we are not Russian, well, we are Russian, but we are not slaves to the Russian government, blah, blah, blah. But if they're in Russia, of course, how much choice do they have? 400 million users, 240,000 companies use Kaspersky antivirus. The company says, we're disappointed. Yes, I can't lie. We're disappointed. A response to the geopolitical climate rather than a comprehensive evaluation of the integrity of Kaspersky's products and services. Well, yeah, that's probably true. No smoking gun, Kaspersky, the company said, will continue to assure its partners and customers on the quality and integrity of its products. But really, come on. Come on. Really? You can't. Russian law requires a company to cooperate with the FSB, the big spy agencies like the CIA of Russia. Actually, yeah, I guess it's like the CIA, its closest analog. And so back in 2017, the White House said Kaspersky's software is an unacceptable risk. On March 16th, the chairman of the FCC, Jessica Rosenworcel, said the agency had completed a review of Russian interests in U.S. communications networks and shared findings with national security officials. That's all we'll tell you. Okay, I won't use it. It was a very good, I guess it still is, antivirus in its time, but you're right. One of the things it does, and many antiviruses do this, when it finds something suspicious, it sends it back to the servers in Russia for analysis. And at least in one case, that included NSA hacking tools. An NSA contractor had brought home first black mark on his record. Brought it home, not supposed to do that, and then he had Kaspersky running on his personal computer. Kaspersky says, well, these are suspicious. These look like they could be used for hacking. Send them back to Russia. The Russians got them. And it's believed that was how those tools leaked to the public. So maybe that was the red flag. I don't know. Big worry for Apple and Google, I guess. The EU, European Union, has provisionally agreed on a law that would force Apple to allow third-party app stores on the iPhone side-loading and iMessage interoperability. Apple has, it was even revealed in a discovery in the Epic versus Apple trial that email messages from Apple executives saying we can't put iMessage on Android phones because then parents would buy cheap Android phones for their kids instead of expensive iPhones. So we can't allow that, which is pretty much admitting that they're doing it for competitive reasons. Okay, that's fine. I guess that's legal. I guess. It's not good for customers. It's good for business. Finally, on a sad note, the inventor of the GIF has passed away. Actually, two passings this week. Stephen Wilhite died from COVID last week at the age of 74. He invented the GIF, graphics interchange format, for CompuServe. Remember that? CompuServe? It was in the 80s. It was the big online service. Before the internet was widespread, was public, people would use CompuServe, even before AOL. And he was looking for a way to distribute images without using a lot of bandwidth, because in those days you had 300 bit per second modems. He invented the GIF in his spare time. Notice I'm saying GIF, not GIF. That's because Wilhite, from the rest of his life, insisted it's pronounced GIF. He won a Webby Award, and that was his acceptance speech. It's pronounced GIF, not GIF. So in honor of Steve Wilhite, I will from now on, if I remember. Wilhite said one of his favorite GIFs, the Dancing Baby. You remember that? It started on, what was that lawyer show? Ally McBeal. Because she would have, her biological clock was ticking or whatever, and so she'd see this image of a dancing baby, which actually didn't originate there. It was a demonstration graphic that came with a 3D program back in the day, turned into an animated GIF, then made it to Ally McBeal and spread around the world. He's not the creator of the Dancing Baby. I'm not gonna say that. But he is the creator of the GIF, and so his passing is noted. GIFs are still widely used, actually. Another passing this week, John Roach, who was the CEO at Tandy when they decided to create the TRS-80, which is for many of you and many of us the first computer. It wasn't my first computer, but for many people, the first computer, a desktop microcomputer that retailed for under $600 in the 70s. That was the first introduction for many people, including some kind of very important computer scientists today. Their first computer, the Trash 80, they called it. 1977. By 1981, the best-selling computer of all time, beating out Apple's Apple II computer. John Roach passed at the age of 83. A couple of sad notes, but you got, these people are pioneers, and as the computer revolution gets older and longer in the tooth, this is going to happen. I'm sad to say. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. A tip of the hat to both of them, Wilhite and Roach. 888-827-5536, website techguylabs.com. I am here. I am ready. Fire your computer questions at us. I'll take your calls right after this. Wow, this is not easy. This is not easy to get this thing out. Holy moly. See, that's what Dick was saying, is watch out, because that is the joystick. Don't cut that. Holy cow. I don't know where to cut. There we go. There we go. It just fell right out. Boy, this is, do not give this as a Christmas present to a child under 12. Okay. Almost free. It even comes with AA batteries, says Dick. Must be inside. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I'm all tangled up. Okay. There's the joystick. Oh, look, there's the little 20. There's a little. Right. Oh, yeah, look at that little guy. Right. Switch it on. Oh, that's a fake switch. That's the RF switch. These are all just little. Here's the on-off button. Do I have to put batteries in it? That's the reset button. I guess I have to. Oh, I hate it when they do that. Put a screw on the back of the battery thing. I need a screwdriver that goes with a. I hate it when they do that. And he said it comes with AA batteries, but it does not. Pull the plastic strip out, he said. Okay. Does that do? Oh, it did it. You're so smart. Tiny arcade. Press to start. Press what? Press the red button, huh? Oh, there we go. Asteroids. Call me maybe. It's time for Kim Schaffer. Don't call me maybe. Definitely call me. No, you're not a dancing baby. I'm just putting that on the screen. Do you get visions of that, though?
You just took me back 20-some years.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved that show.
Yeah, speaking of 20-some years, did you see this? I bought Dick DiBartolo's miniature Atari. I'm playing Space Invaders. Wow, that is so cool. All right, I'll turn it off. It's just this little teeny-weeny Atari thing. That's so cool. Hi, Kim Schaffer.
Takes me back about 40 years.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Ally McBeal was the 80s. This is the 70s.
I think the 90s.
The 90s? Maybe it's the 90s?
90s, yeah. Yeah, they revolutionized the, what was it, the co-ed toilet.
That's right. That was the first place that I saw a co-ed bathroom. And that made it okay for the world, I guess.
Remote control bowl. Got to have a fresh bowl.
Wow, you remember a lot from that.
Yeah, I watched it.
It was a good show.
It was a good show.
I liked her. So should I talk to somebody today or no? Should we just do the whole show ourselves, you and me?
Yeah, that would actually be
No,
fun.
can't, not allowed.
Let's go to Jack in Goldendale, Washington. And this, if you can't answer this question, this might be a good Julian question.
Oh, okay. From, what's his website again? TechJV.com. I always forget that. Thank you, Kim. Jack in Goldendale, Washington. Hello, Jack.
Leo, I praise your every word.
Oh, my. Thank you. Thank you.
I've only been listening for about a year, and I haven't heard this question asked before.
Well, that's good. That's good. I like new questions.
Yeah, well, I've heard the sight impaired guy talked before.
Yeah,
but
Julian
he's
Vargas.
not
Yeah.
found- yeah, Julian.
Yeah.
I haven't found an answer to this. I talked to my sister. She's a techie. She said, that's a great idea. Somebody needs to make an app for that.
Okay, good. Good.
I'm a little vision impaired, not much more than anybody else that wears glasses.
Oh, okay.
But if I don't have my glasses on,
Yeah.
I can't read what's on my smartphone. I mean, not at all.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I did all the searches.
That's the age. That's age-related presbyopia, where you can't farsightedness. You can't read close-up stuff. Actually, I have to wear when I use my. I have a 55-inch screen at home. Now that's big. It's like a TV set. And if I'm using that, I have to wear my computer glasses, which are slightly. It's like readers, just to see the screen. So that just shows you. And of course, a phone screen's tiny. What operating system are you using? iPhone or Android?
It's an Android Moto E, kind of a cheap cell phone.
So so both operating systems have zoom settings that will help you with this.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's not enough for you.
I can blow it up as one word per screen, and I can kind of make it out.
Oh, wow.
If I'm trying to read an email or a text.
Yeah.
I can't read it if I don't have glasses. So here's what's my idea. If somebody, or maybe it's already out there, if somebody could make an app where if a person doesn't have their glasses with them, they can set their, have some icon on their, whatever you call it, background, and adjust it. And because like mine is a plus 2.25. And without that, I can't see anything. So if I had some app that I could turn it on so that my screen would appear as whatever I set it to, plus 2.25 or whatever it might be.
So if you go in to the phone, there's two settings. Make your font the largest, and then in the display, you can also zoom it in a little bit. I'm making it pretty big on my phone. It's still not big enough for you.
It's not big. It's focus. I can't. It's
like when you go in a restaurant and you say, "Boy, are the restaurants getting dimmer?" When you look at the menu, that kind of thing.
So another part of that
is it are you suffering from macular degeneration, or is it just normal age-related farsightedness?
Yeah, old age.
Okay, all right. Yeah, past 40, we all have to deal with this.
So another piece of that I was wondering about is if maybe that app could also use the camera. So if I'm in a grocery store and I don't have my glasses on, but I need to read a label, maybe the ingredients on a label, I could turn on the camera and use that same app.
I do the same thing in restaurants for menus. In fact, the flashlight and the camera helps, and then you can magnify it. So there's one more thing to check in your settings, and it sounds like it's exactly what you're looking for. It's called magnification. And
I tried it.
That's not enough for you?
No, it makes words really big, so I can get one or two words on my little smartphone.
Okay.
But try doing that when you've got a paragraph to read.
So, I understand. So bigger isn't better for you.
No.
You want focus.
Exactly.
I'm not
sure. If there was some kind of app where a person could adjust it, some people are minus levels. Some people are plus.
And you don't wear eyeglasses for this condition.
Oh, I do all the time.
But even then, it's not enough.
I have 10 pairs of glasses. My car, there's 2 in my car. There's at least 5 throughout the house. And my pen with the computer.
Yeah, but that's not sufficient if you're using the phone. You want the phone to act as eyeglasses, it sounds like.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't have my glasses on. I can read street signs a half a mile away, but I can't read anything.
Yeah, it's close-up stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's for when you don't have your Dr. Dean Adele readers on. Okay.
My dollar store cheapies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even dollar store cheapies work better than without glasses. So
I don't think there's any. No, I'll have to ask an eye doctor. Maybe an optometrist could call in, or an ophthalmologist. But if it's out of focus, the phone can't bring it into focus. In other words, the phone is already as crisp as it could be.
Exactly.
So making it crisper is not really the problem. It's the focal length, and I don't know. It'd be like if you were looking at an eye chart and you said, Doc, don't give me those lenses. Just make the eye chart in focus. I don't think you can do it.
Well, that's why I was thinking, you've got a bunch of really smart techies that, on your...
I think your sister-in-law's right. I think
they could probably come up with an app where you could actually adjust the focus.
No.
Or the focus through your camera to compensate for your eyeballs. Not because, the lenses on your glasses have to be like an inch not even an inch from your eyeball.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to be smart to figure this out.
Yeah, it's not doable. I'll tell you right now, it's not doable. But I'll let an eye doctor call and explain why this is. But you're looking at something, making it out of focus is never going to bring it into focus for your particular prescription. It's not it's already as crisp as it can be. You need it even crisper. You can't. So the phone cannot act as can't add a diopter, in other words. I think that's what you're basically saying is I'd like to have a diopter. Now, Google does do some stuff to help people, including Google Lookout, which will read signs to you, read menus to you, and stuff like that. But I don't think there's any way the phone can focus for you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm willing to hear, if you're an optometrist, call me and tell me why. It's an interesting question. But I think that there's nothing that the phone can do. What you need is a lens on your, close to your eyeball.
Exactly. And that's why I was thinking there's probably a way to build an app where a person could adjust the app so that even if I don't have my glasses on, I could change the focus for my eyeballs. Anybody could do that. Somebody with a +5 or a minus could do it.
All I can do is make the text bigger. And I'm afraid there's no way for anything. That's why you have to have those lenses close to your eyes, because what the issue is that your eyeballs are making that crisp focus point beyond where it can see it. It's not in the position that your eye can no longer muscles in the eye can no longer adjust to get it at the precise focal point. Okay. That cannot be solved as far as I know, and I'd love to hear from an eye doctor. So maybe, sometimes we get eye doctors and people like Julian calling in, but I don't think it's I think it's not like that. It's a separate issue. You need to have some sort of focal device. I don't think that can happen. I don't think tech is going to solve your problem, I'm sorry to say. You're going to have to wear your glasses, in other words. I wear contacts. You know what I do, which is interesting? And not everybody can do this, but it works quite well. Each eye has a different prescription. So my left eye is for close-up, and my right eye is far away. And I've gotten used to it. You have to get used to it. It's called monovision. But when you do that, so I read with my left eye, and I drive with my right eye, in effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's that's the kind of correction you're going to have. You need
I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I just want to say can't is not a word I believe in. I think it can be done.
All right. We need an optical expert to call us and tell us how we can do it. Hey, I appreciate the call. I like it. Can't is not a word in my vocabulary. Thank you, Jack. Take care. This show is brought to you, quite literally, by Cashfly. Hello, Cashfly. Cashfly is our CDN. I'm sure you've heard me talk about them. I've been talking about them literally for more than a decade because they came to our rescue when we first started doing the podcasts. We were trying to figure out a way to get these podcasts to you. And, you can go to a website, download it. But, boy, the websites would get swamped instantaneously. We tried BitTorrent. Finally, Matt Levine, one of the founders of Cashfly, called and said, Leo, we can help. And we've been using Cashfly ever since. When you download the audio or video versions of this show or any of our shows from the website through your podcast client, you're getting them from Cashfly. Why Cashfly? It's a content delivery network, which means you are probably not getting it. You're not getting it from us. We're called The Origin. You're getting it from one of their servers. They have 50 points of presence, they call them, all over the world. So the way Cashfly works, when you click the link to download it, you're going to get it from the server that's closest to you. That means it's fast. It costs us no money, right? Because we're not serving it. In fact, we've been using for a long time Cashfly's storage optimization system, which I highly recommend. They store the originals, so there isn't a huge origin expense. You send it to them once, they propagate all the servers. There are 0 cache misses. It's 100% cache hit ratio. That's fantastic. A cache miss means that you go to the server doesn't have the latest copy, it goes and gets it from you, downloads it, then gives it to the customer, which slows things down. So take a look at SOS, their storage optimization system. And if you're doing video, Cashfly's just added this ultra-low latency video streaming, less than a second latency. Much better than your traditional WebRTC solution for its WebSocket live video workflow, scalable to millions of users. Cashfly is amazing, and because they have all these points of presence, they have amazing reliability. In fact, 100% availability in the last 12 months. Not one glitch. And I know that because we never hear about problems with getting our files. If there's a problem, it's because we screwed up, not Cashfly. However, if you ever need help, they've got 24/7, 365 priority support. They're always there when you need them. Mobile content optimization makes the site load faster, lightning fast gaming with downloads faster, 0 lag, no glitches, no outages, ultra low latency video streaming, SOS. And when you get Cashfly's elite managed packages, VIP treatment, 24/7 support, and response times in less than an hour. I can go on and on. This is one product I know very well. We've been using them for more than 10 years. I love Cashfly. Check it out. They will give you a free detailed analysis of your current usage trends. Bring your CDN bill if you have one. I bet you they can beat it. You may be overpaying by as much as 20% or more. Go to twit.cashfly.com for that complimentary analysis. twit.cashfly.com. You've heard me spell it on every show. CACHEFLY.com. Cashfly. Thank you, Cashfly. Now back to the show. Shades of Ally McBeal. It's the Dancing Baby song, a.k.a. Blue Swede's Hooked on a Feeling. The Dancing Baby was one of the very first GIFs that was, it wasn't the first GIF by any means. In fact, the first GIF I saw was probably 94 on Netscape Navigator. It had a compass that rotated. But the Ooga Chukka Baby, as it's sometimes called, is actually the reason the Ooga Chukka is the baby's doing the cha-cha, and it just matches the Ooga Chukka perfectly. It was one of the very first viral videos, way before YouTube or Snapchat or TikTok, was the Dancing Baby. It came with a program from Autodesk called 3D Studio Max, which is still around, it's still very popular. And it was a sample. Sometimes with a program you get sample files. It was a sample file. sk_baby.max, released in 96. It was actually, let's give some credit where credit's due. And I'm reading from Wikipedia. The original source file was produced and prepared by the original Character Studio development team at Unreal Pictures and Kinetics Autodesk. And it was one of several sample files provided with Autodesk's 3D Studio Max. The 3D model of a human baby was one of the character skins for the rendered animation. The original toddler with diaper model was built by Viewpoint Data Labs. John Chadwick using the Physique skin deformation system in Character Studio. Final edits by Chadwick and members of the Autodesk development team. Let the credits roll. After the first pre-release application of the 3D baby model to the cha-cha animation, Autodesk employees realized it was amusing to see the baby dance a cha-cha rather than just walk, so that's why the baby's doing the cha-cha. Wasn't really famous. Actually, one more step before fame reaches the Dancing Baby. In 1996, John Waddell created a highly compressed animated GIF from the source movie. as part of a demo of the movie to GIF process. He published the GIF to the employee webpage of an internet startup. And that's when it started to become a viral sensation. But I think it was Ally McBeal that really put it on the map. Oh, wait a minute. Now, we've got to find it because I'm running the original, which is pretty low res. But in February, right before the pandemic happened, somebody found the original Dancing Baby file and converted it to a high-definition animation. There's a tweet. There's a tweet with this information. Glorious HD. Okay, I'm going to put this link in the show notes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I suspect for most people, it's enough just to say the Dancing Baby, but once you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. A bit of ancient history. 8888 Ask Leo. If you're tuning in for car guy Sam Abul Samad, he has the morning off. He'll be back next week, of course, and he will be joining us on our podcast this evening, This Week in Tech, the Academy Award edition. Trevor is on the line from Burnaby, British Columbia. Hello, Trevor.
Can you hear that?
I hear you. You're on the right microphone. It's Mac Wright from the chat room. Hi, Mac Wright. You're on the right microphone this time. Welcome.
I don't know what I did. I used loopback, but getting ready for this disability show is getting more and more complex because I've paid for call-in studio, which is 6 cents a minute per caller.
Yeah. What do you try? Let's explain to everybody because you picked up in the middle from a call some weeks ago. You want to do a show with a call-in show.
Exactly. I want to do a call-in show called Living with Disabilities, and the lowest common denominator I have to deal with is just call.
Take a call.
The easiest way.
Like we do.
Take a call.
And the way we do it is the most expensive way you can do it because it's a radio show. And so radio shows, have fancy rollover lines so multiple people can call the same number and be put on hold. And there's all this fancy stuff. You don't need all that. Call-in studio, 6 cents a minute seems a little expensive to me. Didn't we talk about TalkShoe last time? Did you look at some of the alternatives?
TalkShoe is not the same as it was a decade ago.
You still can't take calls, huh?
Yeah. So, but the issues I'm working on now, and another issue that came up last night, the first issue is because I want to make this so good, do this so right, that radio stations will want to syndicate my...
Ah, clever. This is a good idea because I don't think radio stations probably do as good a job as they ought to for disabled people. So I think this is a really good idea. And radio stations do have, because of the FCC, they have a commitment to doing public service programming. So you might actually have found a niche that might work. So
but
you sound good now. That's a good start. What's the issue?
The problem.
Yeah.
Is, other than I should also get a cough drop, is I really need to be able to control the callers. I can do drop and all that with the call-in studio, but the issue with it is I can't do the time delay where you what's it called?
The dump button. You want the 40-second dump button.
Yeah, 40-second button.
Which we have. So there's a few things the radio station does. It's the call rollover is one of them, and that means you need to get a special kind of trunk line from the phone company. The other thing is a call screener, and it looks like Call-In Studio offers call screening, which is nice. You have to have a partner to do it, or there's an auto screen feature. But then... You're right. Every radio station, we do it, for instance, will have a way of, if a caller swears, the radio station doesn't want to get fined by the FCC. So they have a way of, what they're doing, in effect, we used to do it with reel-to-reel tape recorders, is we'd record and play back 20 seconds later. So it was just a loop on a reel-to-reel. And it would play back 20 seconds later. So, for instance, if you're listening to the radio right now, what you're hearing, our conversation, Trevor and my conversation, happened 40 seconds ago. If, for some reason, Trevor goes off the rails, Professor Laura, who's sitting in the studio with her hand hovering. Is it a big red button, Professor Laura?
Yes.
It used to be when I was a lad, a big red button that said "dump" on it on the console. And if something goes, you hit it. Now, the reason there's this 20-second or 40-second delay is it gives you time, because human beings, we got to think about it. Is that a bad word? That sounds like a bad word. Or should I dump it? Am I going to get in trouble? What will the fine be? I don't know. Maybe I better hit the button, and then hits the button. You have 20 seconds to do that. What happens when you hit the button is we go to real time. In this case, because we're using a digital delay, it's a little different than a tape delay. But you go to real time. And that means now, if you swore, I wouldn't have much to do. Actually, the reason we use a 40-second delay is we only dump, 10 seconds, Laura? 20 seconds? Maybe this is a state secret. 11 seconds? It's a state secret. So you press the button and you don't go to real time, you just jump back 11 seconds. And if he's still swearing, you hit it again and he jumps back another 11 seconds. And then, because it's a digital delay, it takes little tiny chunks out of the conversation, bit by bit, and then catches up. It's kind of like buffering in reverse. So there might be a slight digital garbling after the dump button is hit. Usually you can't tell. The way you know the dump button's been hit is suddenly the conversation, like there's an edit point, jumps. And all of a sudden we're talking about something else because that 11 seconds or 20 seconds or 40 seconds has been deleted. And then it jumps ahead. And then it starts to catch up again so that it stays at 40 seconds. I don't know how long the catch-up time is. That's probably a state secret as well. Trevor, I'll help you off air. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Got to take a break. Did I describe it accurately, Laura? Is it a state secret?
I mean...
They probably don't want to publicize it too much, right?
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know. That's a good question.
Because you don't want somebody to game the digital delay. So... All right.
The other issue I'm running into is that I realize if I have multiple callers on call-in studio, it goes into a single channel on my mixer.
Right.
And I'm just overthinking this. Welcome to having autism, Asperger's syndrome, legally blind, visually impaired, cerebral palsy.
Well, you got dealt a tough hand, didn't you? Sounds like you're doing okay though, Trevor. You're taking care of yourself, which is good.
No, I'm not. I'm also morbidly obese. They won't give me a mobility scooter because of my vision.
Oh, wow.
I can't get around because I have cerebral palsy.
Oh, wow.
So it's like this, yeah. So this is hopefully why living with disabilities will keep me sane.
I love it. Yeah, this is a good thing for you to do. It's a great project. So don't take multiple callers is the first rule.
I'm going to start with one caller.
Yeah, because then you can hit the dump button. Because they do that, yeah.
Then what I'm going to do also is...
Notice I rarely take multiple callers, Trevor. But the way I do it is I have a mixer, and each input is different. I don't think I could take 2 phone calls. I can take Sam and a caller and me. Because Sam is coming in. Can I take 2 calls, John? Oh. Okay, so I can't... Oh, yeah, that's right, because I have a hotline. I can take any 2 lines? Okay.
You can take all the calls. You can bring
the
them
problem with doing it is I have the same problem as you would if I took 2 callers. They're now merged into one input. So I can't, if they're different levels, I can't mix the levels separately. And if one of them swears, both of them get dumped. But I think that's what you want. I mean, are you thinking you're going to have, you think you want to have multiple people on at once?
No, I don't know. Like, Irene started figuring out, like, okay, I'm going to bring it in through the Scarlett.
Good.
Into Logic, so it's recording everything as a separate channel.
That's good.
That's the thing.
That's the way to do it.
Every single thing.
That way, if you cough, you can edit that out without losing the caller. Things like that. That's great.
Yeah, but that issue with that is that I still need the cough button because it's live.
Yeah, it's good to have a cough button. I have, as you know, I have one because I'm coughing a lot lately because of the allergies. So you definitely need that. I would not get, Trevor, I'm just going to counsel you to start slow. Don't worry about the big problems until you get to them.
Can I correspond with you via email about this stuff?
Certainly. Leo@leoville.com. Be patient, though, because I get a lot of email.
Okay.
I love this idea for you, Trevor. I think this is great. Do you have anybody assisting you in Burnaby?
No, I'm living in a care facility because I need to pay care.
Yeah.
And I just don't have, I'm just alone in this box all day staring at my 55-inch TV.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're in our chat room because that's a little bit of a community for you too, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still hard to read text me because of my vision. I'm more of a voice person.
Send me an email, and I will also send you a membership in Club Twit because Discord might be a little bit better for you. I don't know.
Because, and can I please be frank with you? Because I feel I still want to do this with Bill Gates and all that.
Yeah.
It's because of some of the things you've said that are a bit off. It's really worried me, but that's why I'm only listening to security now. But that's why I kind of...
Migrate, I'm sorry. The song's over. The ads are over. Hang on. If you want to talk some more, we can talk some more. I'll put you on hold. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Oliver on the line. What? We had Canada, now we have Mexico from Tijuana. Hell, it's North America Day on the Tech Guy Show. Hi, Oliver.
Oh, hi. Leo, to 23-year follower from the CDTV.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So I wasted a lot of time researching laptops. I want to buy a laptop to edit 4K.
Okay.
So I want to buy the cheapest but marginally best laptop for that. I need the specs.
What's your budget?
The cheapest, man. The cheapest, but marginally best.
You can, believe it or not, you can do it on an iPad, which starts at $329.
No.
You want a computer, though. You want a computer.
I don't want Apple. No.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I can do it on my Samsung phone, but I want a laptop.
Yeah. So, PC-wise, 4K, the good news is 4K has gotten a lot easier than it used to be. Now 8K is the challenger, right? Do you know what software you want to use yet? Because that's going to also determine what hardware you get.
Just I want to edit smoothly 4K, just like.
Yeah. So you don't want Apple, so that's going to rule out Final Cut, which is Apple's product. Probably, I would look at DaVinci Resolve, which is free. That's the software, okay? And then that means you want a Windows machine. And I think you probably, I'm trying to think what you would need. I'll look at what DaVinci says is the minimum requirements. That's probably the best thing to do. This is from Blackmagic Design. They give this away, which is kind of amazing. There's a professional version for $300, but I think certainly to start, the free version is more than enough. It'll do everything, are you making any videos for YouTube? What do you want to make these videos for?
For a website.
For a website. Okay.
Yes.
So you're gonna put them up in probably web video. You don't want to host it, I'm thinking, so you are probably doing it.
I also want to keep the 4K edit. Just edit cuts for the 4K.
Is it your website or is it somebody else's website?
My website.
Okay. So you don't want to, trust me, you don't want to host video on your website. That can get very expensive very fast. What almost everybody does is they put it on YouTube and then embed it, the YouTube video.
It's a paid website. I have money.
Okay. I was assuming you're cheap. You just don't want to spend money on the PC. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes putting video on your own website is a challenge. Most people...
Gaming. No gaming. I just need to know if I want to buy with a video card or not.
No, you don't. These days you don't, because almost always these days the built-in video from Intel, the Iris graphics, is enough. Do you want a laptop or a desktop?
No, laptop. You just need the specs.
Just the specs, man.
RAM and
16 gigs of RAM. Okay. I think an i5 would be enough with Intel's Iris graphics.
Oh,
and then you need enough storage, and you want SSD storage because you want it to be fast. Yeah. If you can afford an i7, that will certainly speed things up. But
so you see, I need the marginally best.
Marginally best is an i5.
Okay.
Do you need a GPU video card? Probably not. You could probably get by with the Iris graphics. So if you could afford a video card, yes, but I think an i5, 16 gigs, you're going to want probably a terabyte hard drive. Depends how big these files are. Remember, you want to have a hard drive that's big enough to get all of the video files onto the hard drive as you're editing them. Oliver, what is it? Is it a gaming site? What is this site going to be all about?
No gaming. Can I do an anti-gaming PSA?
You can do an anti-gaming PSA. You bet.
Yeah, because a lot of young adults are addicted to video games and are wasting their lives playing with video games.
I always think I love video games and I play video games, but I have to admit I always feel guilty thinking, what would I do with the hundreds of hours? What could I do? I could learn an instrument. I could write a novel. Yeah. but you'd have to agree, don't you, Oliver, that you have to recreate. You can't always be working.
Mid-20s, mid-30s. Young adult that is addicted to video games, stop it. Get a second job, get a third job. By 40, you're going to be a millionaire.
You're a hardworking guy. I agree.
Stop playing video games. They're not good. Okay.
Oh, just think where I could be today if I hadn't played video games my whole life. Actually, I probably wouldn't be sitting here because thanks to video games, I got into computing. That's what got me into computing. Okay. But no, I understand what you're saying. And you know what? To each his own. I love it that you work so hard and you don't want to waste time messing around. Do you play chess or checkers?
No, I play with something different. Okay.
Okay. You got to have some downtime, Oliver. You got to. So if you can afford to get a video card that would certainly, it's really not about whether it can edit the 4K video. It can. I think this is an important thing to understand. It's really about how fast it is. It's your time. So when you spend money on an expensive computer, and often it's professionals who do this. That's why the Mac Studio can be $7,000. It's not to make it better. It's to save their time. So if you make a 4K video and you can edit it and do all that stuff on this machine we just described, that's an inexpensive machine, you then have to save it out. And that's when you're going to want to go and get a Modelo Negro or something because it's going to take a while on a slower machine. That's where you're saving time. If you go out and get a cup of coffee and come back 10 minutes later and it's done and you're happy with that, fine. But that's why professionals spend money on video cards, not for gaming. That's a different matter, you're right. But that's why they spend money on additional processing power because for rendering the video, rendering the transitions in the video, saving the video out, converting a video from one format to another, that's when you need a lot of processing power. And again, it's not that it won't work. It will. It just takes a little longer. 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. How much is that worth to you? And it's literally that. 10 minutes versus 5 minutes. What is that worth to you? So, no, I don't, I don't think a laptop with an i5 and a 16 gigabyte RAM, a terabyte hard drive is not going to be able to do the job. It is. Absolutely. But it's going to take, 20 minutes instead of 5 minutes to save out the file, things like that. People in the chat room are going crazy. The Twisted Mister says, laptop, mistake for CPN-intensive work, just too hot. It'll throttle. I agree. That's why I was asking laptop or desktop. But laptops are fine. A lot of people do video editing. My son is on TikTok, 2 million followers, edits everything on an i9 Intel MacBook Pro. Everything on a laptop. And I don't tell him. I ordered a Mac Studio for him, a little gift to celebrate 2 million followers on TikTok, because I think he deserves a desktop that can get a little hotter with bigger fans, so he can do it a little bit faster. But he, that old Intel MacBook Pro is chugging along for him, and it's working fine. So and if you're making Pixar's next Toy Story, Toy Store, what is that, 5, 6, 7, whatever. You know what they do? They have 100 computers in a lab. And they say, you do frame 1, you do frame 2, you do frame 3, you do frame 4. It's called a render farm. And that's the only way, at least in the old days, you can make these kinds of movies. So it's really about time, not capability. They can all do it. But if you're a pro, time is money. 8888 Ask Leo. Good luck, Oliver, with your website. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Yes, Mike is not here on Sundays. Sorry. There's only one of us. I'll do my best. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me, but you'll have to use Skype out or something like that. Anything on your mind with a chip in it, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. Open for discussion. Chris Marquardt, photo guy, coming up in about half an hour. Rod Pyle, spaceman, coming up in an hour and a half. And in the meantime, more of your calls. Let's say hi to John in Lakewood, California. Hi, John.
Hey, Leo. I'm so glad I get to talk to you finally.
It's nice to talk to you. Thanks for calling in.
Okay. You've got to help me out if you can.
I will do my best.
I'm a teacher, and I've been using my old MacBook Pro for the last 10, 12 years. And I finally broke down and got a new MacBook Pro, and didn't realize that they didn't have USB ports on it.
Yeah, you got the M1 though, I hope. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I got the M1.
Good.
And I've got a Mokin adapter.
M-O-K-I-N. How do you spell that?
I-N.
Say again.
Yeah, M-O-K-I-N.
Okay.
So it's a Mokin adapter, and I'm connecting my VGA cable to it, to my projector, so that I can project my...
Oh, this thing has a VGA output. How cool is that?
It's got about 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was way better than what they were trying to sell me at the Apple store.
Yeah, but it is from a company that nobody ever heard of. But other than that, it's a Chinese company. A lot of these, honestly, this is probably very similar or identical to products that are brand name. This is the company that probably in Shenzhen, China, makes it for those brand names. And companies like Belkin slap their label on it.
Right.
So you're probably getting the same thing, even if you got it from a brand name for more. So all the Apples have Thunderbolt 3 ports. The newer Apples have Thunderbolt 4 ports coming out, which carry a lot of stuff, including video. But the VGA you want for your projector is analog video. So a device that's got a VGA port on it has to do some finagling inside that metal to take the bits coming out of the Mac and turn them into an analog signal for VGA.
Well, my problem is it's not filling the screen on the wall. Like as it comes out my projector.
Yes.
It's my old MacBook Pro. It's a 6x6 screen that I pull down every morning to project my PowerPoints from.
Yeah.
And with my new Mac, the image on the screen in front of my classroom is like 3 feet wide. And I can't get it to fill the entire screen.
Yeah. So what you've got to do is go in the display system preference pane. Mm-hmm. And it will show now 2 displays. It'll show your laptop display, and it'll show a secondary display, which is the projector. And it's my guess that the projector is a 720p, at best, 720p projector. Because... I'll go in my soapbox briefly. We don't fund schools enough, and we really ought to give them more money. Stop spending money on stuff that we don't need, like bombs, and more money on schools. Okay. Okay, I'm calming down now.
Amen.
Amen to that. So that old Optima projector or whatever is, older era stuff. What you can do, usually in the display control panel, is you can change the scaling for that projector. The problem is that this is a VGA connector, and it may be that there isn't a variety of ways you can send a signal to that projector.
Yeah, I've been looking for I bought this thing 4 weeks ago, and have not been able to use it in my
So do you see, when you're in the display control panel, do you see the choices that say, normal for this display or scaled? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
Yeah, I do. There's a scale. I mean, it's default for display.
Yeah, default for display. That's the words I was looking for. So,
or you can click scaled.
And what happens when you go to scaled?
I don't remember. I'm not.
So what you want to do is click scaled. So there's two things going wrong, and actually I don't think it's this, but this changes the dots, the resolution of the monitor. But that is probably not what's going on. What's probably going on is the refresh rate. And that you may not have control of. And so it depends. If it's just dots, that's why you're getting black bars, because the MacBook is sending a image that doesn't match the resolution of the monitor. Does the name on that display the actual name of the device? Is it correctly identifying the device? That's the first thing.
No, it's not. And like, here's another thing. Like, is it the EDT or something like that?
Okay. So that's probably the problem. And this is true of all computers. They need to understand what they're talking to in order to send it the proper resolution and frame rate. And if it doesn't, it's going to default to just a standard VGA output. And that actually should be perfect for that projector, I'm guessing, but apparently it's not. Is the text real small? Is it hard to see?
It's just, I mean, I don't teach using PowerPoints, but it's my opening slide, and when I have presentations every once in a while for my math lessons.
How could we get this to work
I'd like
better?
my students to see it.
Yeah.
And it's just,
so EDID, the chat room's telling me, stands for Extended Display Information Data. And it's saying, I'm getting information about this display, and based on that, that's what it's not the brand name, it's not everything, but it's basing what it's sending out on that. That should actually work. It could be in fact something with the Moken.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I don't want you to buy something else because this is coming out of your pocket, unfortunately. Yeah. Just like the laptop did, unfortunately, because once again, we are holding bake sales for our children's education.
Yeah.
And fully funding, M1 Abrams tanks that we will never use. But, and I know I'll get email and letters from people saying, "Oh, Leo," but no, really, this is the most important thing a government can do is educate its citizenry. Why are you cheaping out on teachers? And schools and equipment. So if you can find another teacher with a different adapter, that might be worth a try. I'm trying to think. The problem is you need a Thunderbolt 3 to VGA. That's a weird thing. It's because it's an old projector. And so I hate for you to buy another device.
Do you think an HDMI cable would?
Does it have it? So is that yes, it would be much better. But does the projector support HDMI?
Yeah, I have an Epson. I mean, it's a modern Epson.
Yeah, don't use VGA. What are you using? Yeah, if you have a more you have a nice Epson with HDMI, yeah, of course, just use HDMI.
Okay.
I wish I'd heard that. I should have asked you the right question. But you gave me a chance to get up and down on my soapbox twice, and I needed the exercise. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Can I ask you one other?
At least they got you a nice projector. That's good.
It is. I bought that one myself, too.
Oh, God. Heaven help us.
I know.
How,
when I have my EDP screen on my Mac, like it's a blue screen.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why it's blue? Like when I have multiple monitors?
You mean the wallpaper? Yes.
Yeah.
In your control panel, make sure you're in the control panel on the external display. You can choose the wallpaper. It could be anything you want. It could be a nice picture of your students.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, blue is just the default. That's what it comes with.
Okay.
Hey, thank you. What grade do you teach?
I teach 8th grade algebra.
Oh, my God. No, okay, now you deserve battle pay, John. But But I'm going to tell you something. It was my 8th grade algebra teacher who taught me how computers work. I will never forget him. He was kind of a character. He used to throw chalk at students he thought weren't paying attention. That probably is not allowed anymore. But
Well, I throw highlighters everywhere.
yeah, or erasers, something soft.
Hopefully nobody heard that.
I don't blame you. 8th graders, notorious. They've got their minds in other places. But I'm telling you, you're forming important minds. He had us, this is in 1972, sit in chairs in a row, and he would hand a piece of paper to the first person in the row and say, and each of us had an operation. He made a little computer, and I would do this process, the next person would do that process, the next person would do that process, and then the answer would come out at the end. Basically teaching us how von Neumann computers work. Yeah. And that was something I'll never forget. So you're changing people's lives. Thank you. I know they have their minds on other things, but you're doing God's work. Let's put it that way. Thank you for what you do, John. I appreciate it.
All right, Leo.
Yeah, the HDMI will solve it.
Okay, man.
Have a great day. And choose a nice wallpaper for the kids. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's that bumper sticker. Why do we have bake sales? Why don't we have bake sales for the military and fun schools? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, am I going to get more email now? Yeah, I think he was in Hollywood. He's in Hollywood right now. I think he shoots with Mario tomorrow. He does Mario Lopez tomorrow. Hey, Chris Marquardt.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm fighting jet lag. But
where were you?
The daylight saving time.
Oh, that thing. You finally did that. God,
And for some reason, that completely threw me this time.
Yeah, it's only an hour. But
it's
Lisa
weird.
and I both
Normally it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, I know. Same thing. Lisa and I were both logy for like 2 days. 2 days.
I'm more in the vegetable state today, but
yeah, I know the feeling.
That's okay.
Did you send me an email?
You have an email, yes, and I will drive, and you can back me up.
I will look along. I will follow along.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Thank you, sir. Yes, they're trying to. It's not going to happen, I think. But in the U.S., we're trying to eliminate the time change. The problem is.
Yeah, I saw the Senate voting for it, but is it really going to happen?
I don't think so, because I think once. Of course, it was a senator from Florida who proposed it. In the South, that's a great idea. But as you get farther north, it means that in standard time, what would have been standard time, kids are going to school at, in the pitch black. At 9 a.m., it's still pitch black.
Oh yeah, it's
so where you live,
it's not ideal, especially in the country the size of yours. But even here, it's I don't know.
I think reality is going to sink in. If you're in Florida, sure, it's great. But if you're in Alaska, not so hot.
You could save a lot of money, though. I think a lot of money is burned with 2 changes every year.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, the change is the problem.
It's pretty
I would
wasteful.
be all right if they stayed with standard time, honestly. But I'm in California. Again, it's not as bad for me. Yeah? On my little tiny chair. This is the story of my life right here. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Actually, I didn't used to sit on a chair. For more than a decade, I've been sitting on a yoga ball. And the theory being that, you're unstable, so you're moving around. So you have to be, it's active sitting. And it's really true. A lot of people in doing this job, radio types, like to stand up while they do the job because you don't want to be, sluggish and sloppy and slumping in your chair as you do a show. You want to be alive and alert. But now I'm trying this thing from a company called QOR, designed by a cardiologist, which makes me think maybe he doesn't really, maybe that's not anyway, he's a physician, but the idea is it's more like a bicycle seat on a stick. It's still wobbly. I don't know. I like it. It makes me want to stand up every hour, which is probably a good thing. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. What was the name of that song, Professor Laura? I have to listen to the whole thing.
Dead Flowers.
Ted Flowers?
Dead
Flowers. I knew a guy named Ted Flowers once. Hershey on the line from Daytona Beach, California. Is it Hershey? Hi, Hershey.
Leo, it's Daytona Beach, Florida.
Florida. Why did I say California? Yes, of course.
I hope the weather's good up that way, and first-time caller, and appreciate all the work that you and the team at Twit.tv do.
Well, thank you so much. That's our podcast network. Thank you.
Yep. And, of course, on the weekends, we got the Tech Guy podcast, and so I was listening to the first call, and it seemed like A11Y type of day, or in other words, accessibility type of day.
Yes.
So for Android, I actually help host a show called Android Insight. And so for that caller in the beginning, I would suggest Samsungs are better at magnification. Compared to Motorola and Pixel phones, they do well, but they're not well on low vision side. They do amazing for screen reader users, of course, with TalkBack.
Right.
And, a person should probably want to get into that realm or use something like Select to Speak, where it'll read to you a little by little, but not annoy you with the full-fledged screen reader, as many people might not be familiar with, or, might have had diabetes, and, all of a sudden there goes your eyeballs, and here you are trying to, recoup in your life. And so sometimes it's taking the small steps, as you've always said to people, the first step is the right step. Don't overthink the big picture.
Nice.
And the first step, like I said, Samsung has a better magnification. The triple tap magnify screen that you mentioned earlier works just fine. You pinch and zoom, and then you kind of pan. On the Apple thing, I think it's a different gesture, but it's similar. And the thing with Android, with Motorola and other phones, you will get pixelation. So I don't know if that's what he means by focus deterioration. As soon as you zoom in with you pinch in, or you get expanded to get bigger, you do sometimes get kind of pixelization.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I suggest the Samsung phones.
Samsung doesn't have that problem, huh?
Right. The screen is definitely better. The screen that they use, I forget the exact name, but the QHD, FHD, doesn't matter what you have it set at, you will still get clarity out of the device. So even like FE phone for a cheaper device would be highly suggestible. And another thing to Trevor, Office Hours Global is definitely a good place, a good resource for audio, video.
I've referred Trevor to Office Hours before. That's Alex Lindsay's 24/7 Zoom call.
So Leo, I'm basically 21 hours in there, and then on the side I have
nice
my Google speaker playing the podcast from the Twit network, and then my phone's and the phone's on Discord. So,
well, I can't believe we've not met before, Hershey. It's nice to talk to you. Tell me again the name of your show and where we can find it.
Absolutely. IBUGtoday.org. And I haven't called, but I'm always on IRC and Discord. I'm VIP Hershey on there.
Oh, yeah.
So I just we appreciate all the stuff you guys do, like I said, and it's always good to have more resources. I know Tech JV is definitely a good resource, and with iBug Today, they go over Mac stuff. So on Monday, they do Mac iOS stuff. On Wednesdays, they do Mac computers. So, and then on third Wednesdays is when we do our Android Insight call. So it's a Zoom call. You jump on in, you ask any question, hour and a half call, and if not, just email us, or even if you need to email us personally, if you have questions that come into you guys, feel free. And
it's good to have you as a resource. iBug is the Eye Blind Users Group, which is a really great name, and you got a little ladybug logo. I'm looking at your website right now.
Absolutely, and they're from Texas. They actually approached me. I just started answering Android questions one day on their call, and they said, "Will you stick around?" And I've been there for a year and a half.
Nice. So they have a number of podcasts for blind users of a variety. There's the iBug Cafe and the Buzz. And
Zoom link.
That's great.
Jump on that Zoom link, and then it's a resource. And then on Fridays you have audio described movies. So even if you
how fun!
Want to watch a movie just for fun, while you're sitting around,
you watch it together. That's neat.
Watch it together, and you don't have no picture, but at least you'll be able to look at each other and still have audio description.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, who needs a picture? You just describe it to me.
Well, I mean, I know Lisa gets scared of the realistic picture with all the,
all the gore.
LGBT and stuff,
Hershey, a pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for the plug. iBugtoday.com. And there's a lot of podcasts there. There's the Android podcast and so forth. And it's great to meet you finally after all this time, Hershey. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is one of the great things about doing this show. There's a community of people, and we're all helping each other. I'm just the titular tech guy, but we're all tech people together through the chat room at irc.twit.tv, the website, techguylabs.com, the podcasts at twit.tv. And, of course, let me give a plug to Alex Lindsay's 24/7 media extravaganza, officehours.global. Leo Laporte, there's a plug fest. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Chris Marquardt coming up. It's nice to have a theme song in this world. You know, when you come in the door and you go, I'm here, it's me, it's my theme song. That's his theme song, Chris Marquardt, photo guy. He's my personal photo sensei at sensei.photo. And he joins us every week to help us take better pictures. Hello, Chris.
Hello, I'm trying.
It is great to have you here. Now, welcome into the summer time zone. Chris lives in Germany, where they just changed. So you are 2 weeks later than us, and an hour.
It always creates this window of 2 weeks where you never really get the calendaring right and the scheduling right between the time zones. It's well, let's see where this goes.
Every week, Chris inspires us, gives us a photo assignment, but also gives us some insight into thinking about taking pictures. And, of course, nowadays, everybody's got a great camera in their pocket with their smartphone. So what are we talking about today, Chris?
Well, so there are these kind of segments that we do here where I explain something, and it's often very helpful if you try to figure out things yourself. So I call this reverse engineering of photos. So you look at a photo and you might think, oh, that's a nice photo. And then that's where I, as a photographer, will start thinking about, okay, wait a minute, where's the light coming from? How is that thing set up? How did it come into existence? What did the photographer do to get this kind of a picture? And the moment I understand that, it goes click, and I can do it myself because then I know how it works.
You figured it out.
I brought a few pictures, just as a few hints on how to do this kind of reverse engineering. And I want to start with this picture of a sunflower. And
we will, by the way, tell everybody that the link to the photo gallery that Chris has assembled will be in our website at techguylabs.com. So
yes,
you can see the images.
Right, and I'll try my best to explain. So what we're seeing is the sunflower in the sun. And the reason you see that it's in the sun is because of all these hard shadows. You have very bright areas and very dark areas, and some shadow on the leaves and some shadow on the petals. So this is a very obvious, in the bright sunlight picture, there's not much reverse engineering. You know what this situation is like. If we look at I'm going to bring up the second one here. Here's another sunflower, and it doesn't have almost any shadows. It's very, very subtle in its lighting. So no hard shadows. And that, of course, gives you the hint that this is a picture that's been taken in the shade. So the shade and the sun, those are two very different kinds of lights. And some work better for this sunflower here. This one, I think, works better because it makes it more soft in appearance. And that suits the sunflower pretty well. So the light is a very important thing to look out for. Here's a portrait of someone. And this is a very, very dramatic studio type portrait. You have, you can tell from the little strips of light on the shoulders and on the hat that there's light probably either coming from the sides or even from behind. And then there's more light on the face. So there's probably 3 light sources, one from the right, one from the left, and one from the front. And you can tell just by looking at how the light falls on that person. It's pretty basic stuff, but if you exercise these kind of things, then you will become better in telling how these things work. Here's another portrait where we have half of the person lit and half of a person not lit. So that is obviously light coming in from the side. It's easier when you look at something like a statue, that you can tell much easier where the light's coming from. And one area that I look at to determine the direction of the light is the shadow under the nose and the shadow under the eyebrows. Those two areas, and under the chin, of course, those areas give you a very good indication of where the light's coming from. And looking at this on a statue like this, it makes it easier than on a person. So here's another one, old Greek statue, and you can tell the harsh shadow of the nose kind of cuts the face almost in two, and it's not very flattering. So if you want to take a photo, want to take a portrait of someone, then that might be a type of a light situation that you might want to avoid, because it'll not be flattering.
You're a Greek statue and he doesn't care.
If you're a Greek statue and you're in a museum, then maybe that works out. Another indication of light and direction is glasses, believe it or not. If you look at glasses on people, here's one example of a girl. She's wearing glasses, and there's no shadow of the glasses on the face whatsoever. So that tells us that that the light source is a very soft light, as opposed to this other portrait, and the person, the glasses cast a very hard shadow on the face, which means, first of all, you can easily tell the direction of the light, and you can assume that it's a point light source, a smaller light source. Smaller light sources cast harder shadows. So glasses are another indicator that help you reverse engineer how a picture came to be. Motion is another thing. In pictures, you can show motion by doing a longer exposure. Here's a fairground ride, and that is a longer exposure. You see the lights all smeared. So that will give you an indication that this is a long exposure. On water, it's very easy to see. Long exposures make water go silky, and this is a waterfall that gets a very different feeling than if you're there. Or this is a shot, we're looking at a bicycle. Everything is in motion apart from the bicycle. The bicycle is tack sharp, and the background and everything is smeared sideways. And that is what we call a panning shot. So the photographer is moving the camera with the bike, and the background gets motion blur. So again, if you start seeing these kind of pictures, understanding these kind of pictures, then you end up being able to recreate them. And here's this is a motion blur kind of photo. That's a zoom blur. That's where the photographer took a picture while either moving the camera forward, and this gives you this tunnel kind of effect, or while zooming. So those are the kind of things that you want to create that
effect. That looks like a mistake.
If you want, try that with Christmas lights on Christmas, or little point light sources, little lights in the background. That'll be an interesting effect, and it's certainly worth playing with these kind of things.
When I remember a photo safari with one of my favorite pro photographers, Mikkel Oland, and he kept turning his zoom ring as he was taking the picture, and he kept doing
That's exactly what he did. Yeah.
He kept doing it. I said, "What are you doing, Mikkel?" He said, "Well, that's what he was trying to do, is create that weird zooming effect." And it takes a little practice, because your timing has to be just right. But it's kind of fun.
You will create pictures that you will have to throw away, but maybe 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 will be a good one.
Let's tell people what our assignment is. You last week pulled an adjective out of the fishbowl, and it is expensive. This should be a fun one. So you've got a month to do it, or 3 weeks left now. Go out, take an image. Doesn't have to be with a fancy camera. Your smartphone's fine. Of something that illustrates the word. Doesn't have to be an expensive thing, but illustrates the word, the concept, expensive. And if you get something, you go, "Oh, I like that." You should feel it in your gut. It goes, "Yeah, that's a good shot." Then upload it to our Flickr group. It's called The Tech Guy. You'll know you're in the right place. More than 10,000 members and lots of pictures. Renee Silverman, our moderator, will accept your image. Make sure you tag it, though. Flickr, all the images are tagged TG Expensive. That way we'll know it's your submission. In 3 weeks, Chris will pick 3 and talk about them. Chris Marquardt is at sensei.photo. I'm just going to take a picture of my Leica. Somebody's suggesting that. That's expensive, yeah.
Yes.
The photographic term for expensive is Leica. I just saw the Wired just reviewed the new M12, M11?
M11.
It's like $9,000. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you can sell your old Leica or trade it in.
I have my film M3, which is still a work of art. I love looking at it.
Oh, yes.
And I have my nice Leica lens. I already spent enough money on a Leica lens. I probably should just use. I think anybody would work with a Leica lens, though, right? If you can.
Yeah, they will. Especially the mirrorless ones. You get adapters. You know, it's. I mean, it's a shame to use a Leica lens on a non-Leica body.
Really?
But
I got to spend $9,000 on an M11 just so I can use my lens.
Well,
is it better? Have you played with one?
I've not played with the latest one, but
it's a
with
digital rangefinder,
models.
which makes me nuts. Yeah. It's like you don't need to do range.
You know, they are an experience. They're a haptic experience.
Yeah.
I mean, the fine mechanics, the craftsmanship on these cameras is amazing.
That's the thing. It's a physical.
Is that camera going to make you a better photographer?
No.
I doubt it.
No.
That's not happening.
I know, having spent a lot of money on camera gear, it does not.
Yeah, it's like an expensive car is not going to make you a good driver. So, no.
Anyway, but you know, my mouth waters. I look at these, and I go, ooh.
Oh yeah, they're good at that. They're really good at that.
Ooh. Oh yeah, but fortunately, it's way out of my price range. Thank you. 60 megapixels.
Same here.
I don't know why it's 60 megapixels. That doesn't seem like a good idea, but
well, it's a big number. Big numbers sell.
Yeah. Who makes their sensors? That's what I want to know.
Who makes their sensors?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I would venture a guess and say it's Sony, because Sony is
they make all the sensors.
The world's sensor maker. So
I feel
there's
like
a good chance that they make them.
There was a Leica, maybe it was the Q2 or something that was a you could get a Fujitsu for less that was the same. I seem to remember.
Yeah, the Panasonic. I think
Panasonic. That was it. Yeah.
Didn't they? Yes, but then. You know,
but it's not a Leica
thing. Hasselblad did cameras with wooden handles, and they were not necessarily better than all the other cameras, but they were twice the price. So, fashion.
Rangefinder, I used one once. Is it still the thing that you have like a prism and you have to line the image up to be?
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're used to that, it's quick. It's very quick to get the focus right and very precise. So, for street photography, rangefinder is, but you have to practice. It's not like you pick one up and then it's automatically gonna be magical. Right. You have to work with it.
I already spent the $8,000 on the 50 millimeter f2 lens. So,
which is one of the best lenses.
It's an amazing lens, but am I not doing it justice using it on a Sony Alpha? Oh.
You're so torn.
It's $8,990.
Yeah, but it keeps its value if you want to sell it.
Oh, that's true.
You should probably, get most of that back.
Stop. Thank you, Chris. My sensei photo is the devil on my shoulder. That's who he is. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
You too.
Bye.
See you then.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo, the phone number. Back to the phones we go. Jill's on the line from San Diego. Hello, Jill.
Hi, Leo. My question to you is that I heard a rumor that Apple is considering offering a subscription service.
Yeah, I saw that rumor too.
iPhone.
Yeah.
So kind of like the Adobe model, so that we'd have to pay a monthly fee for our iPhones instead of buying them outright. I wanted to get your take on that.
Well, I hope they don't make that the only way to buy an iPhone, because that will be the end for me. as far as iPhones. Apple sort of already offers something similar. You know, you can pay, in effect, a monthly fee, and when the new iPhone comes out, you as long as your old one's still in good shape, you can trade it in, get the new one, continue with the same monthly plan. So that would be, to me, something similar to what a subscription would be like. I can't imagine Apple ever saying, oh, the only way to get an iPhone is like Netflix to subscribe. Unless it's really a low price, like it's $10 a month, maybe I'd consider it. It won't be. It's a rumor. First of all, first thing to say always is, it's just a rumor. Usually where there's smoke, there's some fire. So I don't think the rumor is wrong, but I think that we don't really know the details. And this comes from Mark Gurman, who is a very good rumor guy. He's got excellent connections at Apple, but even he will always say, this is what I'm hearing. Apple could change their mind. This may not happen. The details may vary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's nothing to worry about yet.
Okay.
Would you not like it?
I would hate it because I don't want to rent my iPhone. I want to pay it outright.
Well, and more importantly, there's a lot of people who buy iPhones and keep them for 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, that would be me.
Right. And this would be, if Apple were a greedy corporation, which, you kind of don't get to be a $2 trillion company without wanting a little bit of money, then they would say, well, we don't like this. We want everybody to have a new iPhone. So this is one way to do it, right? You make sure that people are always using a new iPhone. But I don't see that happening. I think too many people, I would say most iPhone users keep their iPhone for several years.
Yeah.
Now, maybe this subscription plan allows for that. And you can already do that. You buy it on time. Right? That's just basically saying I'll pay $15 a month for 20 months or 50 months, and that's that. That wouldn't be an innovation in any way. It would just be Apple doing the financing instead of a firm or your credit card. But I think that if Apple did something like this, it would be somewhat of a greedy way to get people to have new iPhones every year. And they already offer that. So I don't really understand what the rumor means. And like you, I wouldn't do it. I have, for the first time, my job always requires me to, try all the new stuff. But for the first time ever, I just didn't see a reason to get the iPhone 13. I'm very happy with last year's iPhone. And you know what? If the iPhone 14 isn't much better, I probably won't get that one either. And a normal person, there's absolutely no reason to buy a new iPhone every year or even every 2 years, maybe every 3 or 4. If you want to have the latest technology. So I'm with you. I don't, and again, don't worry about it. I just
hope they'll give us a choice at least. I won't feel bad if, you can have the option.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't understand. It's like, what are you saying? Are you saying this will be the only way to do it? I'm going to have to read the rumor. I can't, I'll be honest. I saw the rumor. I saw Mark talking about it, and I immediately ignored it. Because if Apple were to do that, they would lose 50% of their market. So it's not going to happen. It's just not.
Oh, good. Because Adobe did that. They took away the right to buy Adobe.
Yeah, no, and that's a lot. And Microsoft's headed that way as well. Software companies love the idea of an annuity of a monthly or yearly subscription, and it drives me nuts. I don't like it. But I can't think of a hardware company doing that. Is there any hardware company that says, well, you can't buy our product, you can only rent it?
I think this would be the first.
I can't think of is there anybody else does this? Are there TVs that you can't buy, you can only rent? I don't think so. Cars, I guess, but that's usually, again, not through, I guess if you're doing it through GMAC, when you buy a GM vehicle, you're doing it through the car company, I guess. It's really a separate business. But that's just a loan. I don't think that's what they're talking about here. I think I could see it with software. Software, I understand that. I'm not a happy camper about it, but I understand it because the reason they do it with software is their costs are. So you sell me a phone, that's done. You're not doing any R&D on the phone. You're going to update it for security flaws. That's about it. But if I buy a piece of software, you have to constantly improve it, fix it, update it. So a subscription makes a little more sense. The costs from the company's point of view of the hardware are continuous, or rather of the software are continuous, not of the hardware. I don't think. So let's see. We'll hold hold our outrage until Apple actually does it. Let's put it that way. Don't worry yet. If they do it, and Gurman says they might do it as soon as this year, they'd announce it in September. And I'd be the first one to say, well, that's that on an iPhone. Matthew, Marietta, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Leo. I'm a soon-to-be expecting father. Have a tech baby question.
Congratulations.
I've been looking.
First kid?
Thank you. Yes.
Yay. Okay.
First kid at 37. We're getting a late start, but...
Oh, that's all right. I had my first at 38. So believe me, I know how that is. It's fine. You're going to be a great dad. What do you want to know?
Thank you. Yes, I'm looking at baby cameras, and they do all kinds of monitoring of the baby, tracking sleep and everything. We're not really into that. We're tech people, but we're not looking for that. So I was wondering if there's like a security camera I could use with my Fire TV stick, a lot like the Ring doorbell.
Oh, what a good idea.
Watch it on the TV.
Oh, what a great idea.
But I need something that's going to automatically do audio with it, too.
So in my day, my kids are now 28 and 30. So in my day, you had a little intercom that you'd put in the baby's bed, and you'd put by your side as you were watching TV in the living room, and you'd hear the baby go, wah, wah, and you'd get up and take care of him. A baby monitor. But now they have cameras, and as you say, they are smart. Amazon sells some that are specifically Echo-enabled that will, in fact, work with the TV. So if you have a Fire TV, Google sells them that work with the Google TV stuff, but you want to have it to work with your Echo. One I'm looking at is $50. Smart baby monitor from Project Nursery. Not expensive, has a camera, and you can put it on your Fire TV, which I think is kind of fun. Instead of watching TV in the living room, we'll just stare at our baby, which, by the way, with your first is something parents do. I remember sitting and staring at Abby hours at a time. They're so fascinating. So fascinating. So I don't have any experience with this Project Nursery product, but it sounds like a great idea. You can talk to it through Echo. It has an Echo skill, and you can view it on your Fire TV or other devices. What I like the most is it doesn't have a monthly subscription, which a lot of these guys are going to start doing. As we were talking about with the last call, everybody wants to charge you a monthly subscription. But these Project Nurseries, as far as I know, do not. So take a look. Have you looked at that brand?
No, I haven't, but I will definitely take a look.
You can even say, this is my favorite. You can say, if you look and there's nobody in the crib, you can say, hey, Echo, pan the baby camera to the right. Where'd the baby go? I like that feature. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I guess somebody's saying, and it's probably true, you should be aware of security on these things. We've seen in the past baby monitor devices and others, not having good security, and bad guys can hack into them and stuff like that, which is not a good thing. I don't know anything about Project Nursery, but I like the name, and I kind of like the capabilities. It's pretty impressive. This is a pan tilt zoom for $50. That's pretty impressive. You probably don't use it to stream. Did you want to sit and watch the baby on TV?
No.
Yeah, you don't care about that. This is more like if the baby moves. You can also play a lullaby. You can check a temperature. You can record a video. It has an SD card that goes in it. How exciting. When's the baby due?
Due in October.
Are you excited?
Yes, definitely.
Are you nervous, more like?
Not so much. I'm just kind of calm. I live 2 neighborhoods down from my sister.
Good.
We're out in Marietta in the Temecula wine country. My dad's 15 minutes away. My mom's an hour in San Diego.
So important.
We have all the support we need.
That's a huge, huge thing. Because
And my niece just had a baby a year and a half ago, so
good.
She'll be the most recent case to tell me, do this, don't do this.
Oh, good. Oh, that's great.
I'm looking at Project Nursery cameras now, and
I'm looking at the reviews are not great. So
it's 160. It's 149 for the camera online if you buy it from them, and the other one looks like it's a previous model.
That's why it's $50. I'm also seeing
my question for you.
The other one that maybe isn't specifically for babies, but I'm a big fan because they're much less expensive and they really do everything you need to do. Are the Wyze WYZE cameras?
And that's an Amazon company now, right?
Did they get bought by Amazon? Son of a!
I thought they did.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So they make stuff very inexpensively.
Audio. Because what I'm looking for is something where when you view the camera, the audio comes in and the microphone turns on immediately so you can hear it.
Yes.
Like the Nest doorbell
right.
or the Ring.
The Wyze will do that. I've used the Wyze. We like the Wyze a lot.
That'll work with my Fire TV 6?
That I don't know about. I'll have to check on that. That was the thing that made me look for this other camera that's specifically
We've got little Echo shows in the bedroom, 2 of them, one called Echo, one called...
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
These little 8 inches, and then we just have them as our alarm clocks on either side of the bed. But I was looking in the great room. All we've got is 2 of the Sonos 1 speakers paired together, and we've got the Fire Stick. So I was thinking, just use the camera on the TV, because the TV's 65 inches. You can see it from any part of the room, and it just makes it less of a hassle. Talk to Alexa, see the baby.
Ecobee makes one with Echo built in. It's an Apple HomeKit, which is good because Apple HomeKit has high standards for security, and Ecobee is a well-known name. Let me look.
I need an iPhone because I'm a Samsung Android.
This does not require an iPhone. In fact, it works with SmartThings, which is Samsung's solution.
Good, because I use SmartThings with Leviton Z-Wave switches all throughout
Perfect.
the house.
I just like seeing HomeKit enabled because it means that there's a higher security standard. Apple won't let you put that name on there without that.
Oh, okay.
Well, this one does have a monthly subscription, unfortunately, but that means it's probably streaming all the time.
That's why I got rid of my Smart Hub and went to the Samsung, because it connected to my TV, which the other one didn't, and I didn't have the $4.99 fee, because in 1 year I can go buy a Samsung Smart Hub instead of paying their fee.
Right.
For the Wink.
Right.
And it was down for 2 weeks, and I just got rid of it.
I'm just looking and see if this. It doesn't look like this specifically says Fire TV, so that's.
The Wyze ones sound good if it really is.
What you really need is an app on the. In fact, this is the other way to do it: is start at the Fire TV store and see which of these have an app. If they have an app, then you'll be able to watch it on the Fire TV. So, and if they don't, then you won't. So that's an easy way to figure that out. So Ecobee, Wyze, I bet you there's a Wyze app. I bet you anything. They seem very. They were not bought by Amazon, by the way, but they were started by former Amazonians, so as well as Apple guys. So I think they're a good company to look at.
Yeah, they're started by former people in their smart speaker division.
Exactly.
That decided to spin off.
They said we could do this better and cheaper.
Yeah, just like a lot of tech companies have come that way. So
exactly.
That might be the best way to go.
Exactly.
Get something like that, and then just get like a little, get one of those bar height side tables, a little one, put it next to the crib and stick it on there, and we're good to go.
You can, in fact, show all your Wyze cams on your Fire TV. So then Wyze is the way to go. Yep.
I've got the Ring ones around the outside of the house. I've got the older version that they don't make anymore that does the power over Ethernet, and those work good. Those 2 that I have out there with the Ring doorbell camera all work great and everything. But I just felt like the baby monitor, $300-400 to get.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, Wyze is very affordable.
I don't even do that with my Sleep Number bed. I don't know why I would want to do that, because I have an older one.
I know. I don't like the monthlies. I agree. It's just a money grab. I agree. Yeah.
And they weren't even, and one of them wasn't even monthly. It was just you have to buy the pad for the baby, then you have to, and then the chest strap comes with the camera. Then they have a bundle with the pad, but you got to buy the pad for the crib if you want the floor stand to make it like a floor lamp and make it easier to use. And they started telling you the accessories I wanted came with stuff I didn't even want. It was all junk.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of crap out there. And it's a particular issue for security. I mean, especially with a baby monitor. You really don't want people...
Especially when you watch shows like 911 and stuff on Fox.
Yeah.
And you see people hacking the baby monitor, and the little 7-year-old decides to light the house on fire because someone kept talking to the baby and the toddler and telling it to do so.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's ever happened, but remember the story about the guy who was posing as Santa Claus on the smart camera. Yikes.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. Take care, Matthew. Bye-bye. Well, hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, giant moons, rockets. Space guy Rod Pyle coming up in about 25 minutes. We don't normally talk about space that much, but since we've got an expert joining us, we'll do that too. Phone number 8888. Ask Leo, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me, but you'll have to use Skype or something like that. Website, techguylabs.com. And if you hear me talk about something and I say I'll put a link on the show notes, that's where that goes. techguylabs.com. Back to the phones we go, to the high desert where TJ's on the line. Hi, TJ.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I just want to say we go back to the TV days.
You and me. I remember I was looking through the camera and I saw you there.
Hey, I've got an 83-year-old father who's got I do believe it's an iPhone XR.
Yeah, 10R, we called it, yeah. It's confusing.
10R, yeah.
It's confusing. Apple has, it's a letter, but there's a number. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Yeah, well, the thing is he needs it because that's where his blood glucose monitor reports to, and a scale or something like that.
Yeah.
What's frustrating for me is he was in the Air Force, so his hearing isn't all that great. Is there anything Bluetooth-wise that he can have at the house that will make it ring louder, or that the speaker will ring louder, so he can actually hear when I call?
Oh, absolutely. There are a lot of very good Bluetooth speakers that will pair to the phone, and as long as the phone's within 30 feet, now that's one of the limits of Bluetooth, is it only goes about 30 feet. 10 meters. So as long as the phone is near enough the speaker, when it rings, when you talk to him, in fact, I'd recommend, there are a number of these. There are many, many of them. The ones I use are the UE booms because they're loud, as the name would imply. They're fairly compact. You pair it to your phone. You can use it as, he can use it to talk to you as well as to hear you. And they make booms in a variety of sizes, all the way from Boom 3 to Mega Boom, Wonder Boom, and Hyper Boom, depending on how deaf he is. The Hyper Boom is, it's $40 to $50. It's big. It's really it's a music device. But if he really is hard of hearing, he might need a Hyper Boom. I don't think you will. I think the regular boom or the Mega Boom is more than enough. It's pretty loud. And
well, I mean, like I said, it's frustrating for him, because he constantly apologizes to me, and I'm like,
no. My dad's deaf as well, and hey, he's 83. He's served our country. I mean, God bless him. So this is a very big category, Bluetooth speakers. In fact, it might be one of the hottest categories there is, because everybody's got a phone and everybody's got Bluetooth now. So I would suggest one that has a microphone in it so that he can talk as well as listen. In fact, that's maybe a reason to look at the Amazon Echo devices. My mom, 88, loves her Echo because she can talk to it and say, she turns on the hot water in the shower, doesn't want to forget. She says, Echo, set a timer for 30 seconds, and it'll remind her she's got the water running. There's you can ask for music, but these Echoes can also be paired to a phone. So you can also use it as a speakerphone. In fact, I'm going to give you one more reason to do this. Even if the phone's not there, if he falls, trips and stumbles, he can say, "Hey, Echo, call my son." And it will call over the internet. So really, I think maybe this is the best way to go. You can pair it to the phone, so it will act as a speaker and a microphone for the phone, but it has all these additional capabilities. And I think, honestly, Amazon Echoes, or if you prefer the Google speakers, which do the same thing, are a really great choice for a senior for a lot of reasons. You know, you can just my wife's parents, my in-laws, their favorite thing is to say, "Echo, play Elvis." And they'll just dance like crazy to Elvis music for hours on end.
That's great. I mean, with him, it's like, he might go for it, but I think he's been avoiding it because...
he doesn't want listening. I understand. But
yes, I think that's what it is. He doesn't want, something listening to him.
I don't want to scare him, but Siri's listening to him on his phone all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and because I told him, I said, I'm on Facebook. And if I was on, like 5 minutes ago, I was on Amazon looking at, Bluetooth speakers. The next thing you know,
you're going to get ads everywhere. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. I'll give you another suggestion. So maybe to look at an Apple Watch. And I did get my mom an Apple Watch because it has fall detection. And if she takes a fall, it will call 911. And for an older parent, this is a really good idea. And you set up the watch, it will vibrate on your wrist when a call's coming in. And if he's not near the phone and the watch is vibrating, he can answer on the watch. And actually, I've had full conversations on the watch where people didn't know I was Dick Tracy talking to my watch. So that's another thing. If it's expensive, it's a few $100. Okay. But he has the iPhone already, which is a good thing. I think an Apple Watch might be a very good choice. I got one for my mom because if she takes a walk and she leaves her phone behind and she falls, I want her to be able to get help.
Yeah, well, in this case, I don't think he'd spend the money, but he can't keep me from spending.
It's a great gift. I bought it for my mom. Yeah. It's a great gift. It's not hugely expensive. I think they're $250. You probably, depending on how far away he gets from the phone, you may consider, some of them have cell capabilities. They actually can be online even when the phone is at home. If he wanders away from his phone, you'll really appreciate that because you can also figure out where he is.
Right. All right. Well, the first one you were talking about was a U-Boom.
So Ultimate Ears, which I should mention, is
that for myself.
yeah, the boom is great. I have stereo booms. I've paired them. Ultimate Ears is a sponsor. I should mention of the podcast. That's not why I mentioned them. I actually mentioned them because I've had them for a long time and I like them. But those are simple speakers. Next step up, an Amazon Echo. He may not like the intrusion. I think a smartwatch from Apple is a very good choice for seniors because of that fall detection. Okay. That thing is amazing. I don't worry about my mom nearly as much as I used to because she lives alone, 88 years old. Yeah. My sister's only a couple of blocks away, but she lives alone. If she took a fall, I worry. So having that watch and the Echo speaker and the iPhone means that, chances are much better of her being able to get help. And that becomes really important, as you know.
Well, he's already been told, by myself and my brother. And now I'm only like a mile away, but he's been told by my brother, no step stools, no step ladders, because he's already had cancer in his hip.
Oh gosh!
And they said that could be a potential.
That's right.
Well, when you fall, crack a hip, and they say once you break a hip, you go downhill real quick.
Very quickly. Mobility is super important.
Right, and he's independent. He still drives. And so
good for him.
Like that, and
good for him.
Yeah, and that's something. And he's not afraid to say, you know what? I don't drive at night because of my eyes.
Good.
I don't want to do this.
Good. He's realistic.
It's a little too much.
Yeah. What did he do in the Air Force?
He was. Well, what I know from when I was born, he was in personnel. But prior to that, he was on the flight line and stuff like that, doing security because everybody had to do a rotation.
Right.
Back in the 60s. So
nice. Well, thank him for his service. You're taking good care of him, which is awesome. is awesome.
That's my goal. You know.
Good man, TJ. You're a good man.
Okay, I appreciate your help, Leo.
My pleasure. Have a great day. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Apple's actually made it so you don't have to have an iPhone. Somebody in the family has to have an iPhone, but you can set up a watch for a kid or a senior using your iPhone and then give them the watch. They don't even have to have an iPhone. The trick is, of course, to get them to keep the watch on. That's the trick. 8888, ask Leo. But if they're used to wearing wristwatches, somebody served in the Air Force, I bet you he is. This is a great solution. He'll love it. 8888, ask Leo. That's the phone number. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hello, Rodney.
Hey, Pops. Who's this Dick Tracy guy you're talking about?
Hey, Dick Tracy used to talk into his wrist. Remember that? Hello.
What I remember were the guys with little spoons on their heads.
Prune
I never did
face.
figure out what they were about. No, the aliens.
Oh, alien spoon heads.
Yeah. What was that about? So I had my boomer moment earlier today.
Yeah, okay, boomer.
I did what I do every couple of years. I jumped online and I thought, okay, let's just check one more time to see if anybody still makes a QWERTY keyboard phone. They just aren't out there. There's like one.
They're for old people. They make them for old people.
But I still.
I know. I can't type on an iPhone.
Back, you know?
I make so many mistakes on my iPhone. It's
awful.
I don't have pointy fingers, and
if they charged me for autocorrect, I would be broke. You know.
Yeah.
So every now and then I just look, and there's like one company struggling on Kickstarter. Well, we'll have it out by 2034.
No. It's over.
Or the phones that run like Android 4.
Yeah, right.
They're still selling them.
Yep.
Right? Or more realistically, 10 or 11, but still, it's like, well, come on, don't lock me out. Anyway,
you
just wanted to whine
can
a little
use
bit.
a Bluetooth keyboard if you want to carry that around.
Well, yeah, but, you know, for a while they were making those keyboards in a case for something like an iPhone 8 or an iPhone 10.
Yeah, not
now
anymore.
they don't.
Yeah.
They're just universal, so
honestly,
you've got this loose keyboard.
I talk to my phone. I dictate most of the time now.
Well, that does work pretty well, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's pretty much how. By the way, don't search for alien spoonheads on Google, because the first thing I find is the dark side of the spoon.shop, where they sell spoons of all kinds, including a spoon with an alien schwa head. So just be careful what you search for.
Okay.
I don't know why I searched for alien spoon heads, but I did.
Oh, I see somebody's mentioned the Kardashians on...
yeah, that's another kind. But this is what I found.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at that.
It's actually kind of styling.
Yeah. Oh, they say, don't leave.
Little quartz crystal
It's
there.
their flagship spoon from the dark side of the spoon website.
It just takes everything.
The
and of
internet.
Course, we've got
God
the
bless
avatar
it.
head there.
Yeah,
Right?
God bless the internet.
Oh, you can get a vacuum cleaner straw, a Swiffer for your sniffer. You know?
How about a secret spoon? Because you don't want people to know you're carrying a spoon around. So you carry this around, and they say, what's that? And you go,
dark side of the spoon.
It's a spoon.
So, do you ever wonder how much revenue some of these sites can possibly be making on a daily basis? It's like walking into a gift shop in Santa Monica that hasn't had anybody in it for a year. You know,
my friend used to work at a magnet store on Pier 39.
Yeah. Well, that's actually
all magnets
for a while.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. But spoons, really.
This is bizarre. Why would you want a straw that looks like a vacuum cleaner?
I suspect that's used more for powdered goods.
Oh
than
my
liquids, but
God!
That's just me.
This is a Coke. This is a Coke spoon.
You know, just thinking.
Oh my
I've
God!
never indulged, but
these are not that kind of spoon.
This is not your grandfather's spoon.
Now you could
What
take
is
your
that?
cereal to go with this handy pocket bullet. Oh, I didn't realize this is druggy stuff.
The bullet is? What's that do?
Druggy paraphernalia.
Oh,
look
it
how
holds
small that
stuff in
spoon
it.
is. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking.
Do people really do this still? I thought this was very 80s.
I did too, and I don't know. All I know is when I was working at TV commercials, everybody at the studio used to disappear upstairs about 6.
Oh my God!
I thought, what are they doing up there? Golly! And it turned out they were doing things I wasn't involved with.
And thank God, because they're all dead now.
Or at least broke and addicted, yeah.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo, the phone number, Goleta, California. Bill, next on the line. Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you, Leo?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. Did you ever make it to the Baccara down here? If you did, I didn't get the call.
I didn't, and I would have called you immediately. But next time.
Okay.
Next time.
Next time, that's good. My question is, I have a Intel i5 that I have put a new solid-state drive in and everything, and I'm ready to take all the data off the old machine that's a Windows 10 and put it on the new Windows 10. What software would you recommend to get just the data, not the operating system that I've already loaded out?
Yes, and you're right. You don't want to in any way migrate the operating system. Sometimes people want to, they call me saying, I want to move my apps, and that is challenging as well.
Yeah, you can't do that, really.
I wouldn't. I would reinstall both Windows and the apps. That's going to give you your best results.
Okay.
Does Windows not have, I believe there's a Windows 10 migration tool, I think. Am I wrong? I know, it's been a while since I've...
be going from 10 to 10.
Yeah. But like I bought a new computer. See, Apple, I'm getting a new Mac tomorrow, and all I'll do is I'll plug it in to the old Mac, and when I start it up, it says, you want to move your data over? And you say yes, and you're done. I can't believe that Windows 10 doesn't have something similar, but it's been a while since I've done that. Remember the old days of Laplink? You get a cable that would go on your printer port?
I never did use it, though.
No, I didn't recommend it. I think there is... Windows Easy. Oh, it's not available on Windows 10. What? Windows Easy Transfer. But they have partnered with Laplink. There's a name from the past to bring you PC Mover Express. So this is, I guess this is, it's not free. It's $15. But I guess this is the way to do it.
Buy it.
To be honest with you, the reason I don't know this is the way I almost always do this is just by copying the folder, the documents and settings folder, or just your home folder if you just want that. That will just copy your data and just make it. It's a good thing anyway to make a backup of that on an external USB drive of some kind and then copy it over. Since you're not moving apps and you're not moving Windows, good man, smart.
All I want's the data, everything else.
Yeah. A good way to do this another way to do this would be to have a backup service, an iDrive or something like that. That was always one of the pitches for a backup service is you've got everything backed up. Now you just log into your new computer and say restore, and it's going to move right over. But absolutely, the fastest way to do it would be, I think, would just be getting a USB drive and copying the data over.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and then you have, the nice thing is now you have a backup. You have the original, you have a USB copy, and you have the copy on the new computer. That's...
Of course, the problem is, how do I know that I'm getting all the data spread over here and there?
Here's the trick. Don't use the Windows File Explorer to do the copy. Don't just drag a folder. Windows has a command line utility that's designed to do a better job of copying. It's been a well-kept secret, at least from Microsoft, that their copy routines are terrible. No, they've kept an app on there for years called RoboCopy, which they say is not robot, but robust. And RoboCopy, you'll see it in the command line, and I'll put a link in the show notes to, if you just Google RoboCopy, you'll find the Microsoft Docs, is a command line tool that will copy from one folder to another, so the two computers have to be connected, or you could copy to an external drive and then do it. But it does verification. And it's multi-threaded, which means it'll copy a little bit faster. So it's a much better tool. It's the one I recommend you do for this kind of thing. In fact, they even have a backup mode, which will copy all of the permissions and the the ACLs and that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. RoboCopy is your best friend. Everybody uses Windows. It's kind of a DOS-like command. And do look, and do look at all of the settings, because there's some really good settings for it, like compress, which will do compression over the network to speed things up.
I don't need to do that.
No,
I have one more question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On my iPhone, I have an iPhone 7, messages. I will get sometimes messages that are obviously trying to trick me or do something.
Yeah, spam.
And
Yeah.
I'll get 10 of them.
I know.
And all the numbers are down, and on the bottom is an email address. And I look at the messages, and I block most of the numbers.
Won't help, though, because they change the number every time.
Yes, I know. But the numbers are already blocked, but yet the thing comes through.
Yeah.
And I think they're using... Is there any way to get around that?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Your phone company, this is such, I get this call all the time now. So something's happened to people, that these scammers, they're scammers. They're trying to spread. Sometimes if you click the link, you'll get malware. Sometimes you'll get a spammy link to buy something. Never respond. Never click the links. Never respond to the email. Never do anything with the phone number. Don't type stop. That's the worst thing you can do. They'll even say that sometimes. Oh, you don't want this message? Type stop. And all that's saying is, you got a live one.
Here.
Yeah, there's this number, because they're doing random numbers. And they're providing random numbers. Now, really, it's up to the phone companies to stop this, because they can tell if it's a real number or a fake number. They are reluctant to do so because it's a revenue generator. But you can complain to your phone company. Most phone companies, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all offer spam filtering for your text messages.
Oh, yeah, they have it, but they want to charge $4.95 a month.
Did I mention the revenue opportunity?
The thing rings, and it tells me, possible telemarketer.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. There are third-party tools like the Bouncer that supposedly will work. But this is look, all I can tell you is you're in the same boat. Some of these are incredibly offensive. I got a call a few weeks ago from a very nice elderly woman who says, I don't want porno coming in on my phone. And of course, I agree 100%. It's terrible. Call the phone company and complain. That's the best thing.
That's about all you can do.
Yeah, and you can't really stop them.
One more quick question.
Yes.
I have Outlook. And it also has, the Outlook, but I can't find the PST file. If I delete a message, it goes away. It doesn't go into the trash folder. Is there something I missed? It used to work, but all of a sudden it doesn't.
Unless they've changed it, in Outlook, there is in the settings a command to reveal your PST folder. If you want to find it. And by the way, that's one of the things you absolutely will be copying over when you get this new computer.
Right.
Yeah. I would dig through the settings. There's a lot of them now. Outlook's gotten to be quite a hairy little program. There's definitely a way to do all of that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Host of This Week in Space, the podcast at twit.tv/TWIS. The author of many great books, including Interplanetary Robots, including Amazing Stories of the Space Age, including Battlestar Blueprints, including First on the Moon. I have them all here. Editor-in-chief of Ad Astra magazine. I've got that somewhere, too. The Space Society's official publication, space.nss.org. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Rod. Have you ever been in space?
Only in my head.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
There are virtual reality moments that come close enough, which is probably as far as I'll get. But
I want to ride a 80,000-ton explosive into the sky.
Well, yeah.
I want to go. I guess I'm too
Tarek
old
and
now.
I were discussing on the podcast the other day. We were talking about the fact that they're switching out seats on these Blue Origin New Shepard tourist flights.
Yeah. Pete Davidson
fairly often.
chickened out.
Like,
What happened?
Call us.
Yeah,
We'll
really.
go.
I'll go.
But I don't think that's.
I have
gonna
a
happen.
radio show. I have a podcast.
Well, you got the big radio show. Yeah, you should.
Well,
go.
if I go, you go.
first.
You could sit in my lap or something. We'll figure it out.
Oh boy.
Did he? What happened? Did he not go?
Sorry, so that
He was going to go.
He had okay, get this. He had a scheduling conflict. So he had a scheduling conflict that was worth giving up a $500,000 flight.
He chickened out.
So
that's what happened.
Well, I wonder. You know,
He
and
lost
Sarah
his
Brightman,
nerve.
famously, the opera singer, was supposed to go on the Virgin Galactic flight, and she backed out, even though they weren't close to flying yet. So there are people that thought it was cool enough to put down a deposit and then said, you know, that's just a bomb with a cork taken out of one end. I don't think I want to go.
Well, and it's not really space. You're just going into, you know, kind of sort of space. So I want to orbit.
Go.
I want to orbit. No.
Well, there's that.
I'm holding out for the orbit.
There's a company called, I think, Earth Perspective, which
it's a balloon.
It's a balloon in a gondola, and you go up the stratosphere, and obviously it's not as high as the rocket.
I guess that's
but
pretty
you're up there for
safe.
hours.
Yeah.
And you've got champagne and crackers and
$300,000 crackers.
You know, it's. I think that's only 125, but yeah, these are all things that are a little out of my budget.
$125,000.
But speaking of real space, segue, we have the Axiom AX-1 mission coming up on April 3rd.
I never heard of this. Who's that?
So this is, Axiom is a company that's been in business for a number of years, and it's a bunch of NASA veterans of the space station program and so forth. And they have been working on trying to get a private space station built and flown. So they finally have some agreements to move ahead with that. And this is a module that'll dock with the space station, and then ultimately, when the space station is decommissioned, it'll undock and
These
fly
guys
free on
look
its
as
own.
old as you and me. I think we.
But prior to that,
we should be.
Well,
able
they're
to go.
close.
Yeah.
So this is their first commissioned crewed space flight. So they're buying space on a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule.
Oh,
It's going to launch around April 3rd.
Yeah.
Not sure the exact date because they're flying off pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, which SpaceX leases. But the SLS is currently sitting out at 39B doing fueling and unfueling tests, pre-launch tests. So they got to finish messing around with the SLS before
Is it
they
a
can launch
SpaceX
Axiom.
capsule? It kind of looks like a SpaceX capsule.
Yeah, it's a Dragon 2.
Oh, okay.
So this is, you know, and we've only been flying that machine, the Crew Dragon and the SpaceX rocket up to the space station with people since mid-2020. So, you know, this is a big deal coming in this short order to have, because this is all private flight. These are 4 private astronauts. Axiom bought the flight.
Are they paying for this, or are they scientists? What's the deal?
3 of them are paying. So a guy named Michael Lopez Alegria, who's a former NASA astronaut, did 4 shuttle missions, holds a spacewalking record for 10 EVAs and all that. He's not paying for it. He's the pilot. But 3 guys, Larry Connor, who's a big investor in real estate and tech, a guy named Mark Pathy, who's chair of a group called Marvic Canada that I hadn't heard of before. They're innovation and socially responsible investing.
Jose Andres is making their meal?
Yeah. And how can there not be a TV show on that yet, right?
What?
I mean, the Learning Channel's got to be like right there.
What?
And then this Etienne Stebby, I think his name is pronounced, who's also an investor. These guys are all like big money investors, but he invests in Africa.
So they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're space tourists.
No, not hundreds of thousands, millions. I mean, they're probably spending.
Yeah, but they get to go to the ISS. This is like a.
Yeah, they're going to the ISS.
Can they get out and walk around?
Well, if you mean spacewalk, no. They're just in the station.
But they get to walk around the space station.
Oh, yeah. No, they're there. They're staying there. They're paying for the privilege. I mean, it's many, many millions for the flight.
Yeah, but you get 10 days. I mean, it's
like
good. It's a good
15
deal.
million each. Yeah.
It's a good deal.
And you have to pay for your time in the ISS. And they are doing research while they're there. So they make a very big point of saying, look, this is not, as Alegria Lopez said, this is not noses against the glass time.
No, in fact, that
They're
qualifies
doing
them
a bunch of
as an actual astronaut if they do scientific research.
Well, that's and technically, actually, according to the handbook that NASA put out in 2005, if you do socially relevant, safety-related, et cetera, research, you're in the club. So they're doing stem cell research, cardiac health. They're testing some in-flight spacecraft component assembly, but meaningfully, I think, for the cardiac health thing, they're studying cells that stop dividing in 0G in heart tissue.
We know it's make work so they can get the little pin. We know that. If you paid $50 million,
this is the real deal.
You got to get an astronaut pin at it.
It's not that there aren't other people that could do it, but they are going to. I think the one that I thought was meaningful is they're going to be doing some experiments, and they're there for 10 days. They're 8 days on station, so they got time on the issues we're having with human eyes. For some reason, we've talked about this before, the eye changes shape.
The aqueous humor distends.
Well, the actual eyeball changes shape, but it stays that way after they get home in a lot of men, only with men.
Yeah.
What's that about, right?
Another you know how it is.
Drawback.
Did you ever see Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I'm just saying.
I can't help it. I'm just drawn that way.
There's another launch. SpaceX is going to do another launch a few days later.
Yeah. Oh, they're like working around the clock.
This is crazy. Guys. This is Crew Dragon 4 is going up.
Yeah.
This is a NASA webpage, but I just want to point out they didn't do a good job of photoshopping the astronauts' pictures into the spacesuits. That's the worst Photoshop job I ever saw.
Be nice, though.
Come on, man.
What? There was a time on the website where you could go and get your head stuck in the helmet,
maybe they used that tool. That's probably what it was. That's not.
No, they were.
That's amazing. I mean, it used to be you'd wait a long time. The launches would be months apart, sometimes years apart. Now weeks apart.
Well, and they, again, we run into this possible downside of SpaceX makes it look really easy.
Yes.
At some point, something's going to happen. Hopefully not on a crewed flight.
No, I pray
but they'll
not.
lose a rocket or they'll have a bad reentry or something someday.
Well, it's just the law of numbers. It is still very dangerous.
Yeah.
And if you start sending hundreds of people up, the chances of an accident go higher. I pray nothing happens to any of these people. But you know what? If you sign up, like you and I want to sign up. I'll do it.
Right.
I figure, I couldn't when I was a kid because my eyesight wasn't good enough. I always told, well, you can't be a fighter pilot because you don't have perfect eyesight, which means you can't be an astronaut. But now you don't need perfect eyesight. You just need millions of dollars.
Right.
I want to go. And if it blows up, so be it. That's fine.
Well, let's wait like another 15 years so we don't have as many years left to hang around.
I'll be 80.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
Okay.
You do it when you might have 5 years left.
Old enough
like
now.
Something happens.
Yeah, no, I'm old enough now. Space.nss.org. That's the National Space Society. Everyone should be a member. You'd get the Ad Astra magazine. This cat here is the editor-in-chief. And, of course, for absolutely nothing, for free, you can go to twit.tv/twis. TWIS and listen to Rod and Tarek and their Week in Space podcast. Thank you, Rod.
Thanks to you and Lisa. Thank you.
Oh, we should have mentioned, it's good news. The Russians are going to give Mark Van der Heide a ride home.
Back to the United States?
You can come home.
You can go home.
You may go home, and we're going to send you on a very special rocket.
One way trip.
March
I shouldn't
30th.
even try to do a Russian accent when you're on the air.
It's okay. I could do it for you.
Yeah, I know.
I just do Boris Badnov. That's all. It's Boris Badnov accent, or maybe I'm Natasha. I don't know.
Yes, Natasha.
Yes, March 30th. Mark's coming back after a year.
Yeah.
Boy, his eyeballs are going to be so weird.
Well, and yet some don't have that, or
It's
they
only
have it,
some
but
people,
it doesn't.
and then it comes
well,
back.
It affects some more than others. The big question is why it doesn't fix itself once they come home.
And why women don't have this problem.
Right. Because we thought it was intracranial pressure, a fluid on the back of the eye, but they're just not sure. That's part of it, but it could also be something else. But yeah, there's so many questions.
The human body is a mystery.
And just once again, it's one of those, I get into discussions with my friend Frank White, who's the overview effect guy, who says people love space, and I go, yeah, but space hates
Doesn't
people.
love people.
So we get in this kind of arm wrestling about, so what's the happy medium there? Well, you got to adapt people to be able to stay there. Stop trying to contain them and make it safe,
I'm reading a fun science fiction book that Steve Gibson recommended called The Bobaverse. Have you read the Bobaverse books?
No. What's it about?
I love the premise. So this guy is a software millionaire, just sold his company. So he says, what the heck? He's going to pay to get his head frozen if he dies, right? So he's just signed the contract. Yeah. He's in Vegas for a sci-fi conference. Gets run over. Next thing he knows, he wakes up in a lab. It's 150 years later.
It's like this, right?
No. He says, I don't feel anything. He said, well, strictly speaking, we scanned your brain, but we have to throw the head out. So you're actually in a machine. And he says, okay. And what am I going to do? Am I going to be a garbage truck, artificial intelligence? And the guy says, no, you're our space probe. So he is, as for all intents and purposes, he feels like the guy he was, but he's a space probe. He figures out how to do VR so he can have a body. Then it turns out they got 3D printing so they can print anything they want, including more of him. So he creates more, and that's why his name is Bob, but that's why it's called the Bobaverse, because there are many. First book is called
they basically do meat printing to make more.
Yeah, they do. They can print anything, any molecular item at all. So they build explorers, and it's fun. I mean, it's not deep, but it's fun, and it's very much has that Andy Weir, the Martian kind of snarky attitude. So it's on Audible. Highly recommend it. It's fun. It's fun.
I think we're all just going to be little cockroach-sized robots with our brains implanted in them.
I hope.
Because it's cheaper to fly that way and you've got extra arms.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of it. He can accelerate at 15G because there's no body.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's going zipping around. Of course, they have, it's a little bit phony sci-fi because he figures out how to do faster than light communications. And they've got to, they have to figure out all sorts of ways of.
But I mean, the story really bogs down.
Yeah, you have to wait 13 years.
Right, exactly. There's got to be a way. Ooh, quark entrapment. That'll work.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it.
That's neat.
Yeah. So, and I thought of you, and Steve's been raving about it. It's not the best sci-fi ever. It's it's a little Martian-like where he has to solve problems, especially the first volume. Yeah. It's getting a little weird in the second volume. It's, But he's a big Star Trek fan, so there's a lot of Star Trek. And
I trust Steve's judgment for these kinds of things.
Yeah, Steve's good.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I liked it. Hey, Rod, have a great week.
Thank you.
Such as it is, I thank you for letting me be myself, your tech guy on the radio. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director, did a great job today with the Ooga Chukka, Ooga Chukka. Thanks to Kim Schaffer, phone angel, who answers the calls and gets you on the air. Paste down your cowlick for your appearance on national radio. Most of all, though, I thank you for listening. Thank you for calling in. Couldn't do the show without you. I appreciate it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time for one more segment, so I got time for a couple more calls. Let's take Mary in L.A. Hello, Mary.
Oh, hello.
You're on the air. Congratulations. You made it.
Thank you. I made it, yeah.
Hey.
Well, thank you. I'm not very techy, so...
That's okay. If you're too techy, then I get lost, so that's good. What can I do for you?
Well, you mentioned about the password manager, was it LastPass yesterday?
That's one of many. There's LastPass, there's 1Password, there's Bitwarden. Do you have a password manager?
No, that's why I think I'm going to get one.
Good. When we all have this problem, right, where every website, every app, every account, they want you to create a password. And the natural tendency, and I did this, I think everybody does it, is to use the same password over and over. Problem is, if any one of those sites gets attacked and breached, and this happens a lot, then that address and password is going to work on all the other sites. They call it credential stuffing, and it's a big problem because bad guys go, I have Mary's login and password for this site, for Target.com. Let's try it everywhere else. And suddenly, you're compromised everywhere. And you don't want that. So the ideal would be to make up a new password for every site. But who's going to remember all of those passwords? In fact, better than that, the password shouldn't be your birthday and your nickname and your dog's name. It should be something completely random and long. 20 or 30 characters of just meaningless gobbledygook, upper and lowercase letters, numbers, punctuation. So you really can't remember them. It turns out the harder it is to remember, the better the password. So the only way to really do this realistically is with a program that will A, generate the passwords, B, remember them, and ideally, C, fill them in when you get to that website or that app. And that's a password manager. It's a very popular category. There's lots of them now. LastPass is very well known. So is 1Password. We have a sponsor called Bitwarden. It's actually my favorite because it's open source. It's free. You can pay $10 a year if you want for some additional features, but you don't need to. All of them are going to take a little bit of effort on your part. The reason most people don't use password managers is because it's a little techie. And you said you're not very techie, so it's challenging. But I think you can do it. I think, any normally intelligent person can figure it out. It's just going to take a little finagling. What you'll set up is you'll install the software. You'll set it up in any browser that you use. They'll have a little extension that can run in the browser. That's how it fills in the password. And then the main thing is you're going to create one password that you have to remember. You could write it down, put it in a desk drawer somewhere that no one can get to. That's fine. But that password, your master password, is what unlocks the vault. So every time you launch your browser or turn on your computer, you'll unlock the vault with that master password. And then all those other passwords will be available when you go to those sites. So that's the one tricky thing, is the master password. There's one other thing that's even more geeky. You ready to be... That's a gold star geek, a silver star geek. You want to be a gold star geek? Two-factor, and you've probably heard about this, two-factor authentication. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. It sends your code to your phone.
Right.
Type in.
And your bank probably requires it, because that you really want to secure that. The advantage of that is even if somebody got your password, it wouldn't be enough. They'd also have to have your phone. Mm-hmm. So wherever you can turn that on, I know it's a pain, but wherever you can turn that on. In fact, both of these are kind of a pain. There is definitely a scale. Think of a scale where you're weighing things. There is, the more security you have, the more difficult it's going to be. There is a balance between convenience and security. More secure means less convenient. I don't want to make it so inconvenient that you don't use it. That's really insecure, right? So there's a little bit of a friction, but I think it's doable, and it's really important. I wish everybody would do it, Mary. I'm glad you're asking about it.
Okay. Yeah.
So go to bitwarden.com. You can download that. It works on your phone, your desktop, and everything. They have extensions for the browser. You'll install it on Edge or Chrome or whatever you use for your browser. And just kind of start playing with it. Eventually, you'll want to go through all those old sites where you did use your cat's name and your birthday as the password and change it.
Okay, and change it to that one with Bitwarden.
Yep. And Bitwarden will help you do that. All of these passwords managers will look at your passwords and say, hey, you've got duplicates here, and I'll help you change it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, thank you for asking about that, because now I can tell everybody about it, and so I appreciate it.
So you're saying Bitwarden's better than LastPass?
It's my favorite. Yeah.
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 Okay.
1Password's also very popular. Bitwarden's the least expensive because it's open source, so it's basically free. But I pay them $10 a year, which is, I think, a pretty good deal, just to support them, because I want them to. I really think they're a good company doing a good deed.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. And there are plenty of these. There's dozens of them. If that one doesn't suit, chat rooms recommending others. I just feel like open source is good because it means people can look at the code and know that it's not nefarious, it's not doing bad things. And it also means that, they're going to give it away, because it's hard to charge for something if somebody else can, just say, well, I'm going to make it myself. It's free. Lyle, our last caller. Is it Lyle? Jackson, Mississippi? Hi, Lyle.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm just calling about. I'm planning on getting a Nest doorbell cam, and plus I want to get the doorbell first, and eventually get the camera to go with it later on. But first of all, I want to know if the doorbell cam is still working.
Yeah, I have it. They call it the Hello. The Nest Hello. I don't think they sell the doorbell separately. I think you get the whole thing. Do you have on your house, you have a doorbell, right?
Yes, I do.
Do you know if it's wired? You probably don't. You never took it off. But if you take it off, there'll be one little wire that goes to a little transformer.
Yes.
So that hooks up. It's very easy to install. I'm no handyman, but I was able to do this. I've done it a couple of times. First with the Ring doorbell from Amazon, then I did it with the Nest Hello. You take off your old doorbell. You have the wires. They actually have a video. You attach it to the new Hello. You have to have Wi-Fi, though, for the camera. Do you have Wi-Fi?
Yes, I have that.
Okay. So they attach, then you use the app on the phone to say hello to the Hello and give it the Wi-Fi credentials. Now it's online. You screw it in just like your old doorbell. There's a camera built in. When somebody, there are a couple of reasons I love it. First of all, when somebody comes to the door, my doorbell rings on my phone and on my Google devices. In fact, my Google devices go, "There's somebody at the front door."
Okay, I do have that around my house.
Yeah, I love that because I never miss it. And then, and you can see who it is. And if there's a package left, you can see how the package is there. And if somebody should steal it, you'll see them stealing it. So it's, I think, a great thing. I'm a fan. Highly recommended. Pleasure talking to you, Lyle. I hear the music. You know what that means. I'm sorry to say it's time for me to wrap things up for another week. All week long, I podcast about these subjects in a fairly geeky way at our website, TWIT.TV. That's thisweekintech.tv. You'll find this show there, along with all of our other shows, audio and video, shows about Mac and Windows and security and news and stuff. Lots of stuff. Space. TWIT.tv. And I will see you right here next week, as always. I'm Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. I hope you have a great Geek Week. We'll see you next time. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.